find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
down to
Does
the
he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again on a Saturday for the Sim Racing for Simpletons. Round number 6 comes at you live here from the crown jewel in recent times of the Netherlands. It was, of course, the Zandvoort Grand Prix circuit recently, of course, now home to the Dutch Grand Prix in real life. Tonight, though, we thrash around some Formula 3 machinery to continue the venture around the globe for the SR4S. The championship is as hot as ever, with all 5 wins up until now shared between only 2 drivers of Alexander Rivera and Carson Keane. They make up the top 2 in the championship standings, as you can see there, 108 to 105. Not too far behind there is Mackenzie Roon in terms of his consistent run in 3rd. And then with Daniel Whitfield and Michael Brooks separated by just 1 point apiece. Then comes Maud Kiko. She is 6th with Lucas Finko, Joel Dutton and Dominic Angelicio in P9 with Nicholas Curto, the top 10. Incredibly close beyond that with Long, McFarlane, Rude, Payne and Matheson, the 15-strong championship that we've got here for this season. We are in then to the final few. These are the team's championship as well. Valley, Motorsport, Aston Martin, and the Wrong Stuff Pink round off the top 3. With a very dominant display, it must be said, from Valley Motorsport. But coming into today is, of course, myself, Zach Sweeney, Dean Biggles, alongside me in the commentary booth. We've once finally had a broadcast where both of us have got absolutely 0 issues and we're able to continue on schedule with the planned people in the commentary booth. Obviously, you had Will Chadwick with you a week ago while my PC decided to, just kaput. But we got Dean Biggles back with us as well, and myself, Zach Sweeney, here as well. So we'll bring Dean in. Dean, I mean, looking into today, the Formula 3 machines and things around a circuit like Zandvoort, I think it's going to be a tricky balance between, pace and consistency.
It's a roller coaster ride on a beach. That's what this track is, isn't it, they say? Yes, and once again, going back to that one, Zach, I mean, it just seems like everything was going to try to punish us, isn't it, for the Simpletons Racing Series, to try to just deny a live broadcast. Like you with your computer issues, mine with my computer issues. It's now almost bucketing down rain where I am at the moment, so everything's going to try to stop this, but we're going to get this one done for the round 6, and they're about to get their qualifying underway for the lone qualifying session, and so welcome along and enjoy, everybody. What a busy weekend we've had so far of motor racing, of course. We're just experiencing the other channel that's still live, of course. There's the PEC Endurance Championship that's going on at the moment that you and I were casting a little bit there earlier. And it's continuing to be casted right now. So if you ever get a chance to go have a look at that one. Interesting changes that are occurring that race as well too, isn't it, mate? With what, I think they're down to about 38 or so, 36 drivers left in with that probably four change hours to go.
Indeed, so it's been a roller coaster of a ride in that Endurance Championship. However, we are here over the Atlantic Ocean from Sebring to Zandvoort. Of course, a week ago you were in Austin, Texas in Formula 3 machines around the Circuit of the Americas. And today in Zandvoort, a vastly different circuit in its own right. A lot more technical and a lot less in the sense of margin for error. We are into our qualifying session, which I think is going to be quite paramount in terms of importance in this race. I think that, while yes, it's not the be-all and end-all when it comes to qualifying here at Zandvoort, it does help. It's a big help to qualify well at a circuit as tight as this.
Yeah, not as important as Monte Carlo this season. This series weekend, of course, for Formula 1, which if you do get a chance to have a look at the highlights stuff, I mean, I had to look at them later. It was a bit of a cracker of a qualifying session, I'll tell you that one right now, and that's probably one of the most exciting things about the Monaco GP is the qualifying session. But right now, riding on board there, Daniel's about to give you a fast lap around this, and we'll ride on board with him, courtesy of Zach, who giving us a good guide.
Indeed, so through turn number 1, just trying to keep the car as tight as possible. Through turn 2, it's all about setting up the run through 3. Flick the car to the right and keep it nice and tight to the left-hand side. Not quite as banked as you'd be used to in real life. iRacing haven't quite rescanned the track, but it's all about the exit there as well. Bit of camber still to use on the inside through turn number 4 and get that foot down. Now the run through the roller coaster, up and down over the crest now in towards the quickest corner on the circuit. The flick through turn number 8, down maybe 1 gear to 5th. Does that exactly. Run it as tight to the curb as you possibly can without touching it. You don't want to destabilize the car. Now in towards turn number 9, just a quick flick to the right, dab on the brakes down to 4th. Now into turn 10, bit of camber again you can use on the inside here, chopping and changing at the steering wheel is Whitfield ever so slightly into 11. It's a very long left-hander. It's all about setting up the run, minimizing the distance while also getting the straightest exit as possible. No DRS in these Formula 3 machines on that run now in towards the chicane of turn 12 and 13. Downhill braking ever so slightly. Again, use the camber through the inside of 13 to really help rotate the car. Use as little steering as possible. Second gear to get the most torque possible as you climb up towards the penultimate corner, and once again a medium speed flick to the right. Use the curb to rotate the car. Once again, not taking to the high banks of the final corner. It's more of a flat run, slightly uphill. You've got to manage the weight distribution. You've got to manage the amount of grip that you've got. That is a relatively short lap here in Zandvoort across the line, and it is at the moment P4. And no, actually, it's provisional pole. Daniel Whitfield ahead of Carson Keane by about 0.4 of a second.
What a qualifying lap, exactly. Riding on board with the man that set the fastest time in town here on the Dutch coast. So good job to him as everybody else is going to start putting some their laps in for the lone qualifying session. So just themselves and the track out there. No traffic like you have an endurance race. Let's have a look at Michael Brooks at the moment. As you can see, mini purple sector there. They split these up into those dots that you see on the track map. I'm only used to about 3 sectors in Formula 1, of course, but we have more in the wonderful world of iRacing. Just no rain. I've had too much rain here at the moment. Carson Keane's going a bit quicker. We'll commit to the end of this one of Michael Brooks. And not a very good final sector here. Is he going to slot the papaya orange car? Oh,
wow.
Now, that's just, yep. Put my money where my mouth is on that one next time around. Let's go to Carson Keane and actually just have a look there. Mod. Guy Masterson. There's Carson Keane and Mod. They're going to be very, very, very close. Mod Kiko and Carson Keane. You see the purple sectors in there, but then again, didn't seem to matter too much to Michael Brooks, did it? Before. It's all about the average speed over the whole lap. Carson Keane in that will update itself in a second. Bang! Up top of the timesheets. What about Mod? Can she get it done? Kiko, she crosses the line. Ah, P2. 1/2 there. This is probably just about as exciting as that Monaco GP qualifying session that I mentioned that you're going to have to check out a little bit later, my friend.
Absolutely. It's, apparently it was a wild ride towards the effort, so if you haven't watched it, we won't spoil it for you, but no, definitely go and take a look at the highlights if you are able to. Having a look at the time sheets though, there is one big name that I'm not noticing, and that is Alexander Rivera, the championship leader who has taken 3 of the 5 wins so far this season. He is not taken to the track. He has already taken his drop week as well, to the best of my knowledge, when he missed out at Road Atlanta. Or was it Donington Park? I think it was Donington Park that he didn't attend. It was Donington Park that he didn't take to. He's not here, which tells me that he is going to be shown as a no score for this race, which really puts the championship into Carson Keane's hands with only 3 rounds to go. We got tonight at Zandvoort. In a week's time, we go to Laguna Seca and round off the season at Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time, which tells me it's going to be quite tricky for Alexander Rivera to close the gap back up in that championship fight. And if Carson Keane can keep it nice and tidy and attend all of the rounds and score points in all of the rounds, it could well be his championship to lose. And at the moment, he is setting the precedent in terms of a pole position provisionally for the race, with a 28.9 setting the benchmark. And he goes even quicker, a 28.8 now ahead of Michael Brooks. What can he do in terms of tipping it? It's been a very, very close qualifying session. Only 4 attempts covering the top 4, which I guess we can't really ask for much more of, considering how competitive this championship is.
Absolutely brilliant, of course, and it's going to definitely come down, hopefully, to the wire. You always want championships to come down to nail-biting finishes for championships to be decided. Teams Championships as well, too. Michael Brooks continuing to go a little bit quicker as we're just having a look. Carson Keane as well, trying to match it. What do you think out there in the chat? Welcome, of course. Let's go. Absolutely. It's going to be a bit of a battle between Keane and Brooks, I'd have to say, for this front row grid position for qualifying.
Absolutely. Final moments, of course, upon us. Michael Brooks within 66 thousandths of a second of Carson Keane in the 83 machine. Not quite good enough to tip the Canadian to pole position as of yet. Carson Keane, though, is on a decent lap. Green-purple, slower in the third sector, but quicker once again. Quickest in the fourth. Now, the final couple of corners of the Dutch Grand Prix circuit and through in towards the penultimate corner. Again, these Formula 3 machines are magnificent around a circuit like this. There's so many medium and fast speed corners, and they just grip. You turn the car and it does exactly what you wanted to do. At the final corner, the number 5 machine looking to extend the advantage out at front. He's looking to take a charge in the championship. He's looking to charge towards pole position. Still less than a tenth of a second between him and Michael Brooks.
Yeah, but it goes a little bit quicker. It just makes that little bit of a difference. And that might very well be wrapping it up at the moment. And some of the other drivers are going to be squabbling their way around to see what other positions that they can get into this race. Shane Lawson has not set a time currently on the board, but everybody else has. And that's just the way to finish your lap off there. Michael Brooks now not very quick at all there. I think they're just going to be wrapping up that, Ian. Rude will be crossing the line now. Where's Ian going to slot that car up at a P7? An improvement's always a good way to... Up is better than down, right? As we all know.
Always, yeah. Unless you're trying to escape a building that's on fire, then probably
yes,
down
true.
is probably better than up. But other than that very specific case, yeah, in terms of ascending a timing tower, always try and go up as opposed to down, because that's where you are going to be best footed in moving forward over the course of 31 laps here for round 6 of the Sim Racing for Simpletons. Go on.
Livery there from Carl. It looks like he's in Miami.
Very exotic, yeah, it must be said. Yeah. Very stripy, very very tropical
palm trees
as well.
And stuff on exactly.
It's got palm trees.
I don't think there's any palm trees around here on the beach.
No.
The Netherlands, but you can see. It's another quick question as we're going to be wrapping up that qualifier session. Do they ever get any major sand blowing? Like I know in Middle East they literally just paint the sand down. They put some sticky surface in there so it sticks to it. Of course, they've got so much endless money in the Middle East, but. What about here on the coast too? Remember, too, the coast, you're going to get some winds picking up. Do they ever have that big sand problem on these tracks? I haven't seen it in Formula 1, but you know what, another...
Well,
GP
yeah,
series?
it was a problem at Bahrain, I think, I say a couple of years ago, many years ago, where, yeah, there was quite a heavy wind and there was quite a sand presence on the circuit. That might still be the case when it comes to Zandvoort. Maybe any coastal area where there is wind picks up, where there is sand that is able to be carried, then potentially. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it could be a possibility. But nonetheless, this is the starting grid for the race here at Zandvoort. Carson Keane looks to retake the championship lead, and he rounds off pole position. Michael Brooks joins him on a very tight front row. Daniel Whitfield, Model East Kiko, row 2. Brian Long, the top 5 with Ian Patience keeping in for company on that short run towards turn number 1. They round off row 3 with Ian Rude and Seth MacFarlane just in behind 7th and 8th. Dominic Angelico and Joel Dutton run hand in hand towards turn number 1. They round off the top 10 with Carl Matheson and Boyd Payne. The top 12 with a very lone Shane Larson on the 7th row of the field there in the 7th row of the field there in P13. Bless him, all the way down at the back end of the field. We are moments away from getting ourselves underway here in Zandvoort, and because it's a shorter circuit, only 4.2 kilometers in length, I think we're going for a full formation lap.
I believe so as well. Which will be a little safer per se, but then again, you've got the speed, don't you, coming into the corners, so no standing still. There's no opportunity for drivers to basically just miss your clutch and bog it down a little bit, but full speed into the corners. Anyway, no, it should be, yes it is, because the pace car's there. It's throwing us off there for a second. So there's Carson on the grid pole, and on the grid themselves as they're going to make their way. Following Barney's brother. I'm just making it up. It's got to be Barney's brother. Barry, I think, is the one that drives the pace car in iRacing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't,
Barney
it is
Barry.
now.
B&B. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if that's widely accepted in the iRacing community that good old pace car driver is called Barry, but hopefully no one is going to go and see their good friend Barry R. Hopefully that is everyone's going to keep their nose out of his house today. Fingers crossed. We'll see. It is quite easy to do so here at Zandvoort, particularly if your tyres and brakes are not up to temperature. Tyre temps and brake temps are going to be the priority when it comes to this formation lap. They've got 4.6 kilometers to do so. Weave around, use the friction to warm up the carcass temperature of those tyres, brake a little bit, get some friction going through your brake discs, get them warmed up, but not too hot as to experience a little bit of brake fade. It is that fine balancing act. Get yourself mentally prepared as well. What is to come? What are your targets? Are you going to gain 3 places on lap 1? Are you going to stay the same? Are you going to go for the lead if your name is Michael Brooks? What are your targets? How are you going to best prepare yourself? And how are you going to deal with the pressure that is 31 long laps here at Zandvoort? And, well, they've got the entire formation lap to contemplate about it, which I guess is a long time to be in your thoughts.
And the weather forecast at the moment, the current weather is 72 degrees Fahrenheit for your track temperature. 58% humidity, partly cloudy, forget the chances of rain. 66 Fahrenheit local temperature time, which we should really be down on the beach in those sort of conditions. We're not having a bit of a swim. But, of course, we're going to be trackside in the broadcast trailer in the broadcast booth watching these gladiators make their way around. As mentioned out there, Finko and Kurto are also missing out there in the chat there. Zachary?
Yeah, they are. So Lucas Finko and Nicholas Curto both not participating today, which is a bit of a shame. So that means we've got both Alexander Rivera and Curto and Finko not taking part today, which is a shame. But whatever other commitment that they've got, I'm sure I wish them best luck in whatever endeavours they've got. Is a shame though that the championship fight is going to dwindle down ever so slightly. Though saying that, I don't want to say that too quickly in haste, because Mackenzie Roon, who is here today. No, he's not. Hang on. Mackenzie Roon isn't here either. No. So the next closest is Daniel Whitfield on 88 compared to Carson Keen's 105, which is a difference of 17 points. Whitfield in 4th, Keen on pole. Yeah, I don't know. With Carson Keen, not really got much competition. As long as he keeps it clean, he should be okay.
Yeah, it could be looking to run away. But then again, Michael Brooks had some serious pace here. It could be the ones denying him a race victory. Everybody wants to get a race victory. Jacob out there in the chat. Good luck. Shame he missed another one. Jacob, I never pronounced your surname correctly. Zachary can do that.
Shmansky, I think. Yeah, but, I don't know.
You're going to get ready at the moment. That pace car is going to be peeling into pit road, and anytime soon. There it is. Safety car, pace car. I'm so used to the casting in the American leagues where they call it the pace car. Either way, it's providing safety and pace. How's that?
It's being safe by setting the pace. Yeah, there we go. Same thing. Beautiful. Good old Barry in the cockpit. However, all of our attention is turned to the front row of the grid. Carson Keen and Michael Brooks qualified less than a tenth of a second, 89 thousandths of a second between the pair of them, with Carson Keen looking to etch his name into the history books with this season's Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. 3 rounds to go. Zandvoort, Laguna Seca and Silverstone. The final 3 start right here. 31 laps on offer. The green flag will be waved and we will be underway side by side between Carson Keen and Michael Brooks for the first lap in towards turn number 1. However, the 64 machine of Daniel Whitfield is looking to the inside, at least on Michael Brooks. Carson Keen able to keep the pole position. However, Brooks is in trouble because Daniel Whitfield has got a stellar launch from turn number 1 into 2 and into 3. No changes amongst the top 3. Brian Long up a place as well. Bit of a lockup, a big lockup into turn number 3 there, it must be said, from Carson Keen. Apart from that, no changes amongst the top 3.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, a little bit further back there, Mr. Darlison, Mr. Dutton. Shane Darlison gaining a couple of positions off here. And what's happening here at the moment is that Joel and Angeligo. Dominic. Don't make me just murder everybody's names so early into this race. Just an off-track excursion, I think, there from somebody. But yep, go ahead. There's Zach. So far, so good. There's Shane.
Yeah, Shane Larson, who has put on a good show for us a couple of times. Gets completely and utterly mugged, or is mugging Ian Patience, it should be said. That was utterly insane from the 17 machine. I don't really think that Patience put up much of a fight. However, he is going to try it into turn 12. Bit of a luck up there. That's Whitfield from 3rd place. Has now found himself, next to last on the opening lap. Let's take a look as to how it happened. This is the run towards turn 12. Looking to stay in touch with Brooks and Keane. Into 12. Way too down the brakes. Rear ends of locks. And around he goes. Easily done.
Playing sandcastles in Zandvoort. Not what you want to be doing. Here you go. On the grandstand as you see him go down the main straightaway to start lap 2. Carlson is in the lead of this race. He's actually almost pulled. He's trying to get within out of a second of that gap there to Mr. Brooks. As I said, that Mr. Brooks is going to be the one probably to deny him an opportunity at winning this race, especially if some of the other top guns are not here this evening, as you'd mentioned. This is a nice little battle brewing at the back of the grid here at the moment. With Mr. Payne and Mr. Whitfield. Duncan's gone into pit road because he's gone off track, actually, and this is the reason why. Joel.
And he's out of the race as well. He's parked it.
That must
so
have
we'll
been
take
a
a
little
look.
bit of a moment here in the fence.
Oh wow, okay. And he's flipped it. No, he hasn't. He's kept it on all 4. Well,
no wheels
all
left.
2. Yeah, well, I don't know who that was he went straight into the back to. That might have been Angelico, maybe, but just completely rear-ended him. Wow, that is
gone off track here.
Angelico. Yeah, well, maybe a bit of damage to the rear end. This is how it happened. Too much speed, not tight enough. Car loops around, luckily not to tap the barrier, but still suboptimal to say the least. And we'll be looking to recover for the rest of the race. Shane Larson, though, is on a charge, and he's looking to continue that charge. Looking to go into 5th place in the slipstream of Seth MacFarlane. Pulls out to the left-hand side of your shot, the right-hand side of the circuit, inside for turn number 1. On the brakes, committed as you'd like. Not down to 5th place. The pace that Shane Larson is showing is absolutely sensational, as Whitfield starts his redemption here as he moves his way into 8th.
And out there in the chat there, doing an Indy 500 weekend event this weekend. Well, nobody can broadcast that one anymore, as far as I'm aware of, if you are using iRacing Indy. Unless you're actually at the Indy car track this weekend, that would be absolutely fantastic in real life. But please let us know about that one. Yeah, I do miss casting the IndyCar, of course. We can't because of the legal reasons anymore. We could call it something else. We could just call it really fast American four-wheel, open-wheel cars. Doesn't really matter.
I think the official term is the US Open Wheel Series.
Yeah, there you go.
Is what they've called it now on iRacing, as opposed to good old beep car. Yeah,
how long are we going to be waiting for that other thing to occur anyway? Probably forever, and whether it'll be worth it or not. I mean, you got to think at the end of the day, iRacing is everything all hooked up, don't they? But well, ownership's ownership and royalties are royalties, and this battle at the moment is going to be not worrying about that in the Formula 3 series, because Mud Kiko, she has to get at it again, isn't she? She's always being under attack, but she's got to have to say, give it to her. She's one of the best defensive drivers so far in the series. She's going to have to continue that with a very quick Shane Larson on the rear wing of her 778 machine, my apologies.
Yeah, well, she is mentally resilient, has got that mental strength, and has got the brute strength out on circuit to get her elbows out amongst everyone around them. And now Shane Larson is going to put his best foot forward to move his way up into 4th place. Looks to the left-hand side by side through the roller coaster section. The advantage will swing the way of Model East Kiko. However, Shane Larson very wide going through the very sweeping turn number 8. Catapults himself into 4th place with a sensational move. Beautiful stuff, and respect to Kiko there for giving him the room in towards turn number 9 and 10. And Shane Larson is up to 4th. He is charging his way to the front. Let's take another look.
Yeah, blimp camera for this overtake. So when you get to see some fantastic overtakes, you have to highlight them again. Not just the moments that people have accidents and off tracks, but also when they do some fantastic overtaking. Yep, just like that, isn't it? There are great overtaking opportunities here, Zandvoort. There's also plenty of ways of hitting that. The beach, per se. And it is a beach. We're on the beach. Just walk across the hill there and you're right there. Mackenzie was the one out there, which is the Potato 6, as you know. You're at the event. Not actually doing the race. So is that confirming you're at IndyCar? At the actual Indy, watching the IndyCar this weekend then? Well, then you get an excuse to have a drop week. Because I wouldn't turn that down. Quite cheap tickets too compared to what they are in Formula 1, no doubt. That's the great thing about, isn't it? The IndyCar and the NASCAR, you can get in a full. You can, like James, for example, could take his whole family to enjoy a motor race. James would have to take out a bank loan if he wanted to take his whole family to watch a Formula 1 race these days.
A mortgage probably is more accurate.
Yes, that's right.
In LA,
if you want a grandstand, that's a mortgage for sure. If you just want general admission, yeah, just up your credit card limit.
Yeah, well, yeah, Formula 1 these days is...
Isn't that sad, but don't you think there's Zach? Like, do you have the opportunity, like, you know, I mean, and James would say you and many other people in the chat, and where's Phil? Phil across the pond, stuff like that. They'd say, you know, back in the day that it was affordable for them to go and sit trackside and watch the races. It just can't anymore. It's just, it's crazy. And you got to think about the average fan. Look at this. That's just Mr. Ian. And it looks like Boyd Payne just let Ian on by and said, we'll talk about battling a little bit later on. But yeah, it's such a, but the average audience now has dropped for Formula 1, right? So I think it's around the 25s or 26 or 27. I don't think, how's somebody in this day and age with all the inflation and heavy cost of living and mortgages and rent and all that can afford thousands of dollars of tickets for a Formula 1 event? It's true fans, I guess.
They can't. They get Kanye West and DJ Khaled to spunk about 500 grand at Miami for that event. That's how they make their money. But you know, the passionate, die-hard fans from good old Milton Keynes in the UK, poor old Gertrude, with a family of 4 kids who have raised to love F1 for the last 20 years. Nah, mate, nah, they're not allowed. But DJ Khaled, who walks in, I know F1, yeah, Lewis Hamilton, I love him.
Because
no,
they didn't 10 years ago. And out there, Mackenzie. Yeah, if you get a chance there, mate, just pop in and say hi to Lee Diffie, of course, the Australian caster for the IndyCar. I'm going to go golfing with him when we get back to Australia. So, looking out for that one. And perhaps in the future, when I get time with him, James and I will be doing podcasts. So, if you'd like to jump into that one there as well too, Zach, because we're going to have a chat to the man himself, the best Australian commentator on the planet, from a commentator's perspective, from broadcasters and commentators, from one commentator to another. All the questions that you want to ask about his amazing career. Remember, he's had to step out of the Australian backyard, mate, and branch into your UK and American market for motorsports, which not a lot of Australians have ever done before in the past successfully. So you got to give it to the man.
Yeah, Australia's really sort of set themselves aside when it comes to motorsport sometimes. They are often, you know, overshadowed a little bit. So it's nice to have that representative for Aussie motorsport. Obviously, you've got the Melbourne Grand Prix and the Bathurst races throughout the year as well, which, you know, they're staple points, but often can be sort of tucked under the rug ever so slightly. So it's good to see, because Aussies are...
the caster.
In general, yeah.
He used to commentate old school, like way back in Toowoomba in Australia. Ooh, this is a very, very interesting battle at the moment there. Shane's on a rampage, isn't he? 9 positions gained. And looking to make that number 10. If he can stick it. I don't think he has, actually. What a fantastic. That sometimes looks at... Yeah, go ahead.
He's managed to do it. However, wide through turn 11 and Brian Long gets the up and under. Now it's a long drag race towards turn 12. Shane Larson has got his nose ahead. It will give him the inside for the next right-hander. Late on the brakes, and the battle is won from Shane Larson. His advancement continues forward, up now into the podium places from 13th on the field. Sight sets maybe on Michael Brooks. 4.5 seconds is the gap. I mean, if anyone can do it, Shane Larson can do it. He was, about 6.5 tenths of a second quicker than Michael Brooks on that last lap. A 29.1 for Michael Brooks. And now, as they cross the line, it's a 130.5 from Shane Larson. So a little bit slower there because he had to get past Brian Long.
Yeah.
But on average, I think Shane Larson is at least a few tenths of a lap quicker than Shane Larson. So I'm intrigued to see how long it's going to take if/when he's able to catch up to Michael Brooks.
Well, the previous lap he had was the fastest lap. It's a 28.6. So it was a 29.1, as you mentioned there, for Michael. So once he gets out in the clear air, which he is now, he'll be able to get on that power. You see Ian, a little less patient, I'd have to say, on the gas pedal on that one, because the rear slipped a little bit. And out there in the chat, $5 charity bet that Dr. Carson King does not win. I'm routing against him, but let's see if he makes a mistake. All right, $5 bet to charity. And we'll get that charity to you. That's the charity that James supports for the Little Minds, isn't it? I believe. Do you remember that charity that James does at an upcoming event here?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you a link to that one. If we'll take that, we'll accept that bet out there, Mr. McKenzie. And it doesn't matter if it's a win or lose, either way. It's a charity, if it is. Look at this, Ian. At the moment, root for the Wrong Stuff team. The 86 machine trying to bring the battle to Kyle. So the battle of the Canadians as well, too. One's leading this race, and the other three are in 9th, 10th, and 11th.
They are indeed.
Oh, lock up.
And they still are in 9th and 11th, however, in a bit of a different order. Ian Rude finds his way past Carl Matheson. We'll take another look as to how that's happened then. Carl Matheson leading the way of the two. Ian Rude just in behind, putting some pressure on, looking to the inside. That puts the pressure on Matheson to break late. And the pressure was too high for Matheson as he cuts his way over the chicane, picking himself up a hefty slowdown and a lot of dirty tyres. Meanwhile, I'm fairly sure that Brian Long has had an incident and has found himself with a bit of a spin into turn number 1, maybe launching a counter-attack on Shane Larson. And Brian Long, unfortunately, what looked to be finally salvation for Long in terms of a good race, has turned itself into contact and a spin.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that is netcode. That is netcode.
So I was going to say, that was
it.
a tiny tap. There should be no reason why there's a massive jump coming out of Brian's car. And I don't remember a big bump being on that part of the track. Unless they just added it.
That was netcode. Absolutely was netcode. So thank you, iRacing,
You're not
for...
allowed to say that, apparently.
Oh, well...
You've been on these other broadcasting networks before. iRacing doesn't like the old N-word.
Yeah, well, I'm not commentating for iRacing as Daniel Whitfield. Look at that send to the inside. Beautiful stuff. That's it. There's contact. Oh, my word. He's lost his rear wing. That's great if you want to go to Monza. But around here, you're looking more like a Formula V car. He rejoins a spin with Ian Patient. It wasn't a patient move from Whitfield, and it spelt the end of his race. He has got a fast repair to use, but talk us through it, Dean. What's happened here?
Well, this is not the first time we've seen somebody lose a front wing, haven't we today? Oh, rear wing, sorry. A little bit earlier. Well, this is a quarter speed. I have to speed it up a little bit. It might take forever. Well, ask me what happened here. Well, that's just too deep into it. Swings the car to try to cut it off. Realizes, yes, there is a driver to the right-hand side. Doink. Tried to save it. Couldn't go anywhere. Of course, momentum, car, corner, and AKA collision. Just like that.
Easily done. And out again, both him and Ian Patient searching for points, as Angelico as well, I think, leaves just in behind them as well. No, it's Whitfield, Patience, and Long all leaving the pit lane. Angelico is way behind. But yeah, well, interesting stuff. Bit of contact, and that has spelt the end of Whitfield's race in terms of any competitive position. What looked to be a very good charge towards the front. Shane Larson, though, talking of charges, well, he's gone backwards, 2 seconds backwards to be exact to Michael Brooks. Maybe with the battling with Brian Long, maybe put him on the back foot a little bit, and now we're going to really see what he can do. But yeah, I don't know. We're about a third of the way through this race already, and now it seems that things are stagnating ever so slightly. Carson Keane has got this race under wraps.
For now, absolutely. As the little squabble continuing here at the moment between Brian and Ian. There's your last lap times at the moment. Big difference, of course, from Ian. Just not happy with that car setup currently at the moment. After coming back out of pit road. Maybe they didn't tweak enough front wing or any of those adjustments since those moments before, but that is the current situation. Let's go up to Boyd. Currently hunting down Kyle. Once again, the battle for the Canadians. Now, they've moved up at the moment, so they're 6, 7, and 8 now due to the unfortunate circumstances of other drivers. Going to be in the race to win it.
That's true. Yeah, again, it's all about getting to the end first and foremost. You know, finishing the race is a step in of it itself. As Boyd Payne looks to try and find his way past Carl Matheson, with Long and Whitfield as well battling out over the 9th place. But that's 10.5 seconds back from this fight. But
huge
the fight continues.
There too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They don't have flat spotting so much, do they, in iRacing? Because that, as Martin Brunel used to say, that would rattle the fillings out of your teeth. It's like you're turning a round tire into a square tire, and a octagon tire, would you like to say? Because you got bit of a flat surface on that one. It rattled the car like crazy. Maybe that's something that we'll add to iRacing at some point in the future. I think we've got enough that we want to add to iRacing for now to give these drivers more of a headache to think about.
Well, about 0.5 of a second between Matheson and Payne as the fight rages on between the pair of them. Lap 12 of 31. And still no advancements from the Canadian. No advancements from Michael Brooks either on Carson Keane. There's two very wide there from Payne and from Matheson. It was the initial mistake from Matheson that caused Payne to get a little bit too greedy on the exit of the final corner and into the pit lane quite prematurely, it must be said, cutting his losses and taking an early stop maybe.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be at the moment. Very tricky pit lane entrance there too as well too. So I don't think you could be speeding too much in that. You were talking about that earlier in Spa. But further back, here we go here between Daniel and Brian. Was it dueling in the dunes of the Dutch coast? I knew there was a more time somewhere. Eventually got through it.
You found it eventually. That's all that matters, is that the phrase was there in the end. We do love our puns when it comes to these guys. So
you're throwing a few of them out earlier there too, my friend.
Yeah. They were decent. They were all right. Not my best at all. Not my prime dad jokes, which is what I love to throw occasionally
nice.
on the odd broadcasts. But yeah, when it comes to puns with these guys, it is easy. We have got quite an easy one. Is Brian Long.
That was on you. That was totally on you. Now, it's not a commentator curse, you said. It's a commentator coincidence, right?
It is. There's no such thing as a commentator's curse. There is only bad driving or bad luck. One or the other. And usually bad luck stems from bad driving as well. So, anyway, yeah, that's my opinion on it. Personally, I don't know. Maybe I haven't got my tinfoil hat on enough to believe in the commentator's curse. But who knows? I don't know. Yeah, it just seems more like a coincidence than anything. Shane Larson, in his very vibrant colours,
getting it down
like the Florida coast, and I mean it's come down from 6.5 to 6. The question is though, with just under half the race left to go, with the palindromic lap count that we've got right now, lap 13 of 31, I don't think he's got enough time to close the gap, particularly if he does that.
Get back on the power there, and Zircon by there. As Mod Kiko will say, thank you very much. You want to continue that fight a little bit later on? I'm sure that Shane's going to have to get back onto the rear end there of the 778 machine and do it all over again after that fantastic overtake he did earlier. Now he's going to have to continue. He's just, all right, well, Shane, you might have the wrong stuff with some of your driving at the moment. You have the right stuff when you get those overtakes done, and certainly the spotlight of the entertainment here so far in our Simpletons Racing League as we're just approaching the halfway marker. Yep, certainly entertainment for sure. Considering there's about 13 drivers and only 12 now, as Joel's out. Keeping us entertained out there. I hope you're entertained too, Mackenzie. And everybody else, hit the thumbs, like and subscribe. Little lockup you can see from Mod. Shane's well aware of that. We have seen a ton of lockups, haven't we, from these drivers, really? This track is catching them off now. Not so much of Keane and Michael Rourke, who haven't been following too much, but we shall see. Now, that'll be something out there for Mackenzie about Dr. Carson Keane not winning this race. By the way, just to confirm, is Carson Keane a real doctor? Or just a doctor, a professor, or driving or something?
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to pose the question to him. Maybe he has got a doctorate in something, whether it is medical or university. As Model East Kiko goes wide, cuts over the chicane. Shane Larson closes the gap. The fight for the podium still on. As they look into the penultimate corner, Shane Larson no way through. Kiko with a lucky escape. But yeah, I wonder, maybe it's just a doctor of racing. Maybe when we next speak to him, we'll have a look. However, what we are looking at right now is the fight for the podium. And the 778 in Model East Kiko has been given a lifeline in terms of this podium position. And already she might be under threat. Shane Larson with a good run out the final corner. Pulls to the inside, late braking into turn one. Bit of a tap to the front nose of Kiko has sent him in a little bit wide. But he's kept it under wraps and has found himself back in a P3.
just like that. And I was going to say, so I thought it would take a little bit longer for Shane to catch Kiko, but the problem is she made a mistake and then allowed Shane to come back in to this. But she's not going to give up. She's going to suck in behind here and get the slipstream. And we've seen Shane make some mistakes. We've seen Kiko make some mistakes. I just haven't seen any mistakes, of course, from Carson Keenan and Michael Brooks leading this one, whereas the rest of the field, majority of the drivers had little moments. And most of them is because of the casting coincidence that Zachary's been throwing out on the microphone. And there is another one, but that one's on me. Sorry, Mod.
Yeah. It's proven to be quite tricky.
Yeah, it's catching them off, isn't it? But so we can have to switch it over to Carson at the moment and to see why Carson Keane has not been called out by this track. Just tweaked the car perfectly, just loves Zandvoort. What do you think the reason is why this Canadian guy is just absolutely lasting winding this track?
Well, there's a reason that he's won 2 of the 5 races so far this season. Alongside Alexander Rivera, is one of only 2 drivers to actually win a race this season. And he's looked very strong, to say the least. I mean, he's just got everything on the wraps. The inputs are so smooth. He's only taken 1 turn at each corner. He's got the downshifts and the upshifts perfectly. He's utilising the most. Oh, bit of a mistake there, though. Whether I think that might be more intentional than anything, or looking over his shoulder, checking his second monitor or something. I don't know. Whatever has caused that, but still, it's fine. No harm, no foul. He's not spun out or anything like that, so he's all good. Daniel Whitfield, though, has got Carl Matheson for company and is looking to move his way through. He's already had his fair share of incidences, but he is continuing the charge. Ducks the right-hand side as late as possible as to not lose out any advantage with the slipstream inside line for turn number 1. He's late on the brakes, and he's up in the 7th place. Nice stuff there from the 64 machine.
Lick the stamp and send it, as Daniel Ricciardo would say. So job done. Absolutely making your way up through. But now you've got to be crucial not to make any more mistakes after all that hard work you do, the overtaking like we just saw before. As Shane's now going to climb his way back up and to try to take that P2 from Mr. Brooks. Just think he got down to a certain amount of time, 6 seconds or so, now 9 seconds, got to get it done. Problem is, of course, that those lap times are only going to increase, they're not going to decrease. Well, they'll decrease as to how many you have left. Let's get back to Carson Keane, and Carson Keane's got some traffic. Oh, wow! Was that Boyd or somebody? And that could have been a massive... It was, right? So Boyd's cooked it here. He's facing the wrong direction as Carson Keane was coming around soon. That's got to be a scary moment. We're on the racing line. Look at this.
Wow.
That easily could have ended Carson and Michael's race just like that. With no fault of their own, of course.
Just like that. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's closed the gap ever so slightly. And I think that's more a tribute to Carson Keane just getting off the throttle and putting the brakes on ever so slightly. Fortunately, you are already going quite slow for turn number 1, and it was good reactions from Keane, but to thread the needle as well, gets the rear end out a little bit.
I'm going to see if I can get a replay from Mr. Carson Keane's perspective. So I will slow this down for a second. We'll speed it up for a second, actually. But I want to go to Carson on this one and have a look from Carson's perspective, because this is what's going to be very, very scary, of course, as a racing driver. Let's go cockpit view. So here's Carson. This is slow speed, of course, so it'll help you with your indication. But full speed? Lucky you tuck it to the inside,
wow.
Right? Very.
I mean, that's the natural racing line anyway, so you're not necessarily lucky, you're just a good driver, but I think it's lucky in the sense that, yeah, the spin that we saw from Boyd Payne there didn't roll back more into the line of Carson Keane and was able to keep him pointing the right way. As we tick over the second half of this race, lap 18 of 31 and 3.5 seconds is the gap between Keane and Brooks, who, well, have had their fight already this season when we think back to Donington in their pursuit against each other. But Carson Keane has got this race under control, it must be said, as Michael Brooks moves his way past Dominic Angelicchio. And I don't know, I can't really see this race starting much more for a lead fight, in all fairness, unless there's a mistake from Keane.
Which is very, very possible, because we've seen mistakes from drivers. I mean, you've seen Keane go a little bit off the off-track excursions before, just as we pointed the camera onto Keane. Once again, Carson's coincidence, somehow. Does happen. I think Boyd's got off track again, so I don't know if this is day after that little moment, and just because trying to get. No, that was just the same. That was the same one again. It's the off-track excursion. I haven't turned it all around here. You can get the car stuck in the gravel sand out there, for sure. You can beach it. Essentially, is the word I was looking for. That's it. So you got to keep that momentum spinning, don't you? Remember, like the old school F1 days, you have Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost and all, like just waving to a marshal and go push, push, push. And they used to be able to push him back on the track, but of course in Formula 1 these days they're not allowed to do that, as well as Formula 2 and Formula 3. You got to get that car under your own power, and that's where you can't be very greedy. You've got your license recently. I'm not quite sure if you've ever bogged a car before, got a car stuck anywhere. But the more heavy on the wheel spin you do, the more you're just going to dig yourself into the ground.
Yep, absolutely. It's all about feathering it, being good with your clutch, which I'm sure
Gears
is
well
not
too, mate.
Yeah,
Higher
making sure you got the right gear.
Yeah.
We're talking about clutches and stuff, and the Americans have got absolutely no idea what we're talking about because they're all their cars have only got 2 pedals in them. Regardless of which, Seth MacFarlane is into the pit lane. I'm just saying, automatics are
You've
boring.
never driven an old Dodge Charger and all those classic
I don't like Dodges.
Shelbys,
No, I don't
Shelby
like them.
Cobras, like those old classic muscle cars, man. Nah, trust me.
I don't like muscle. Muscle is it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. No. And automatics are boring as well. I'll stand by it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think anybody disagree with that. If you're racing, if you're driving in traffic, trust me, because I told you before. I had a GTR Skyline. Okay, it had a button clutch in it, and then a button clutch is basically you push it. It's about as heavy as your brake pedal. Okay, and that's your clutch. Because the button clutch, it's the idea of it, so it snaps really, really, really quickly, of course, onto your gearbox, so you don't get any slippage, especially when you're cranking it up as our leader goes into pit road. And because it engages quickly, of course, you don't lose any speed when you're upshifting and downshifting. The problem is it's heavy. Try that when you're sitting in traffic going to work on a Monday morning, mate. You're sitting going forward a little bit, back a little bit.
That you press?
No, it's a button clutch. So your clutch pedal, because I had a manual, is heavy. Yeah. It's as heavy as your brake pedal. So my left foot was almost killing me in traffic all the time, going to work. As everybody's boxing, so Michael went in there, Mod went in there, and Shane Larson.
The gap is halved between Carson Keen. Sorry to jump in there, but Carson Keen, 1.4 seconds now is the gap. And actually, Carson Keen is round through the first corner. He's lost his front wing off the pit lane sequence, and Michael Brooks takes the lead of the race.
He caught
that my
one.
Words.
Now.
Wow, okay. He is out, and that is him almost definitely out of contention. I would like to say that Mackenzie Roon, you owe us $5. Thank you very much. Good sir. Awesome stuff. Look at that car. That looks horrendous to drive. He's going to nurse that home. We're going to take a quick look as to how it happened. Leaving the pit lane. Is it joining with traffic? There's the pit lane slip road. You rejoin. Cold tyres. Around he goes. He spun it once. He's gone again. Is there contact with Brooks? Doink. Yes, there is. And... wow. Okay, that is race done for Carson Keen.
Now that to me, and I would have really apologized to Carson about that. It's kind of like a rookie mistake, isn't it? For somebody at the level of Carson Keen. Well, they've all done it. Every driver, Formula 1 driver's done it. Coming out in those cold tires, haven't you? You're just getting on with it, and just like that, the rear end does not agree with you. Now it's going to go all the way around without a front wing. Slowly and slowly and slowly, but further back we'll catch this action because they might be very much on the back of Carson Keen soon. This is Daniel and Mr. Seth MacFarlane up the road. So, and then what were you saying a little bit before, Zach? He was like, I don't think anybody's going to be able to bring it to Carson Keen here today. And
his worst enemy was himself.
Eat your words.
At the end of the day, no one brought it to Carson Keen. He brought it all upon himself. Again,
true.
Cold tyres, and a lapse of judgment, and around he went. It's a shame to see, obviously, and let's put him now into 5th place. He'll be taking a trip back to the pit lane and a fast repair, and away he goes. But Seth MacFarlane and Daniel Whitfield are both going to work their way through. There is the Canadian. He's going to have to take the penalty of the drive-through, essentially. No time spent stationary, really. You stop and then go because the car repairs itself. But Michael Brooks now only 3 seconds clear of Shane Larson. We've seen the pace that Larson has shown in the final 10 laps of this race. That 3 second, he needs, what is that, 10 laps? So, 0.3 of a second every lap on
You're
average,
British?
plus passing.
You're supposed to have the best mathematicians in the world, of course. Isaac Newton and so forth.
Thank you very much. I got an A star in my mathematics.
But British are very, very good at mathematics. I know that because all the British students that migrated to Australia when I was going to school, like come in there and just get full A pluses at school and just make us Australians look like our level of education is about 2 or 3 grades behind yours, which was essentially true.
Well, you can't blame them because for us they're 9s, for you they're 6s because it's ups and down. So you can't really get it all wrong. Yeah. As Daniel Whitfield getting a little bit cheeky with his move past Seth MacFarlane. Shayla Whitfield in the YouTube chat talking about how the track is getting all of the good drivers this week. Daniel Whitfield has been one of them, and he's working his way back up into 4th place. However, without competition from Seth MacFarlane, as he works his way through, tries to get the up and under the Alpine livery car. No advancements as of yet in terms of the counter-attack. It was a good effort, but I think that Whitfield has got this one signed, sealed, and delivered. 4th place, though, might be his ceiling.
Well, that's Shayla out there. So I presume you're either girlfriend or mother or family or sibling, somewhere along the line. Sister? Let us know there, because we're not on board with Daniel at the moment. We can see Daniel, so obviously you are a Daniel supporter.
And then she's like, nah, I'm here for Michael Brooks or something like that. I don't know.
Shane Larson now. Well,
wow, that gap's closed.
In the water, doesn't he? We didn't think it. Well, we know he has the pace, and he's
done it.
Done it, just like that. Did Michael
3 seconds.
Let him. I couldn't believe that Michael would do that. But you see, maybe a little scrapey on the front of Michael's car. You could, unless that's just in the livery there, but does.
It looks bent. It's bent. No, that 100% is bent.
That
was from the shunt with Carson Keane a little bit earlier on.
Correct. Yeah, for that. To make it that easy, I would have to say that's damage. And
100%.
just let him on by.
The last lap for Michael Brooks was a 32.3 compared to a 29.6 for Shane Larson. That gap has been shrunk and then is going to increase. Shane Larson then, despite his spin, has been absolutely phenomenal. Up 12 places and now into the lead with a handful of laps left to go. He might well be first driver apart from the top 2 in the championship to take victory, and that is provided that he keeps it nice and clean. He's weaving it across the pit straight. He's still got a while left to go yet, Sunshine. Do not get too confident as of yet, because we've seen it time and time again. Don't celebrate too early. Do not celebrate until you've crossed the checkered flag, because it can so easily go wrong. Michael Brooks 2 seconds back. His job is to nurse at home, but Model E's Kiko is keep him honest.
Yeah, she's going to keep him honest for sure. And look at that. So
Why?
she's getting some time. She smells blood in the water, and she also is aware of the fact that anything can happen here. And I'm not quite sure any position in this track is safe. We've seen everybody make little mistakes. Actually, I have to say Michael Brooks is probably the only one who hasn't made a mistake, but let's not speak too quick about that. As when Kiko's about to approach. Oh no, it was Michael Brooks, but Michael Brooks was, of course, was involved in that collision where Michael had nowhere to go.
Whitfield's out. Whitfield's tumbled to the back. Is that a blip in the SDK, or is that a genuine retirement?
That's a genuine.
That's out. Oh wow.
I don't want to do it for his wife that's watching out there. So just in
Yeah.
a second, I'll go back to.
Look away, Shayla. Look away.
Shayla, I don't want to show you that for your man, because we just have to see whether or not Mod can do anything about Michael Brooks up the road there. You know that for a fact. She might even be up just looking over his screen at the moment. She might know exactly what just happened to her man. We will get the replay. It's there. Trust me. It's saved.
I hope he gets some good old shoulder rubs in bed tonight, Shayla. I really hope he gets some nice consolation from you. He deserves it. He's tried so hard, bless him. As Model E's Kiko catapults herself past Michael Brooks. Anna Brooks supporting along in the YouTube chat as well, and there's to not underestimate them. Unfortunately, a bit of damage along the way has demoted him to the back end of the podium. Lucy Whitfield as well. Oh my word, we've got a family reunion going on. We've got the sisters-in-law, we've got the husband. It's all going on here. Daniel Whitfield, he's a good old family man there, and he's working his way through. But Model E's keep up to second.
Wife, and any other family members from the Whitfield family here is what you're not wanting.
Is his dog watching as well?
Yeah, maybe.
Susan as well. Oh my word!
Here we go.
What's going on here?
This is something you don't want to see as a family member.
Oh, that's a tap. That is a donk. That is a good old whackaroony. That is Daniel Whitfield buried into the barrier.
Look at his reaction.
Yeah, tinted visor and everything. You can see it through it. Susan Whitfield. I want to say that's either another sister or that's his mum. Which, funnily enough, my mum's called Susan as well. So, hi Susan. Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, I don't think she's too happy with that one. blimey, yeah, Whitfield, hello. How long have you guys just been sat there? Shayla Whitfield, this is the first week he's had no issues with his pedals or bass, so that's very gutting. It is, his mum is Susan, so lovely stuff. So basically, on his prime moment in terms of opportunity, he's bottled it, is what you're saying. He's had the perfect opportunity with his pedals and wheelbase, and he's thrown it all away, is what you're saying, Shayla. Yeah, well, that's a shame. Maybe his next Christmas present is going to be a good old set of pedals. Shane Larson, by the way, 6.5 seconds now clear. He has really seized this opportunity. If anyone is a Shane Larson fan kicking about in the YouTube chat as well, don't hesitate. Yeah. We've got 14 people watching along.
Where's the Larson family? Yes, supporting him as well, too. You can tell obviously they're a very British family because the mum's with the U, of course. Mum, not the mum, but the mum.
Well, yeah, it's mum, not mum.
I know.
Mum.
I live in the Americas, mate. I have to correct people all the time in the Americas.
Disgusting.
Not using the no.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm very opinionated when it comes to the American.
You are very British, mate. I don't know how you're going to go when you go over to the Americas one time to cast a future event that you'll be doing, no doubt, because.
I won't. I will do it remote.
As we all know, Zach is obviously moving up in the big times and the big leagues and probably winning many awards soon. At some point, mate, they're going to be flying you over there to the Americas, and then you're going to be in the American backyard there. So these not liking so much of the American tracks and the numbers and all that sort of jazz. You're going to have to just bite your tongue on that.
Sorry. Sorry, anyone from the US of A. I don't like you. No, I promise. No.
Yeah, you do love the Americans. You just don't like the tracks or certain things about American racing. That's all. I mean, and I agree with certain of that too.
I just don't like American English. I'm sorry. I'm very patriotic in that regard. Yeah.
What about Australian? Because we mess it up a little bit. We just don't pronounce it correctly. But we still spell it the same way.
That's fine. You sound cool. I like the Australian accent. It's all good. Not to say I don't like the American accent. Every time on a broadcast, I dig myself even deeper, and it sounds incredibly stereotypical.
You gotta go to New York and Boston, and those accents are a lot different. I mean, you may be like thinking, which accent? Because you go in the States, man. There's so many different accents in different regions. It's the same thing too in the UK.
You say that, but it's the same thing in the UK. You travel
you go up
10 minutes down the road, you've got a different.
I can't understand a taxi driver. When you go in central London, you can. I don't know.
Yeah, there are many weird and wonderful. Dialects when it comes to the UK, but yeah, I know when it comes to the Americans, I don't know. They were the funny story as to why they spell color with LOR as opposed to LOUR, right? Is literally because they couldn't afford to print the extra U with the ink on the newspapers. They couldn't afford to do it. That's why. No. Honestly, they couldn't afford to print the ink. That's why color is spelled OR, and why dinosaur, I think, as well. And then also there are some other words as well where they don't have the extra letter because they cut back on printing costs to save money. That's where it stemmed from.
All right, I'm going to ask Shane. If Shane wins this race at the moment, and he's obviously got the United States of America flag next to the 17 machine, we will ask Shane about his opinion of the color or color. Same thing. Sounds the same. Yeah,
flavor as well, I think, is another one.
Flavor's another one, exactly, yeah. I'm well aware of that. My spell checker decides to go either American or UK on that one. But I tell you what, this race is looking to go. But we're keeping the pictures on you, Shane Larson, because we've seen you make mistakes before. And
Biggles is
mistakes again.
Yeah, dinosaur spot like that in the States.
So what happened, Brian, out there? I think in the chat there, of course, the Sim Racing Symptoms element, netcode got you good. Shane, you were having an awesome battle, and that is Mr. Brian? Isn't it? That's you, Brian, I think.
The States are simply more efficient. Nah, they're just cheapskates. Jelly for sale. I'm sorry. Again, digging myself even deeper and deeper.
Your immigration in the States, man. They're going to sit there and they're going to go,
absolutely.
One second, fine. Can you please come back to this room here for a second? And then they're going to pull up all these previous broadcasts of your trash talking United States of America, and then you're never going to be allowed a visa into the country.
Oh, I can live with that, I'm sure. Oh no, my sleepless nights not having a visa to the US. What a shame.
Whoa.
No,
okay.
No, I'm joking. I dig myself even deeper, and literally everyone essentially in this championship is from North America, essentially. So I will not annoy them as to still have a job next season. But yeah, Brian Long being told that obviously he got good in netcode and he was having an awesome battle with Shane, which is true. And this time it wasn't his fault in terms of why his race ended, and then comes back to say that they have imperial measurements, which are inferior to the metric system across all of them, as Carson Keane is picking his way back through into 6th past Ian Patience. Consolation.
Why'd you give that up for Ian? Carson's got to make his way all the way back up the top, I guess. It's just maybe realising Carson's just a little bit too quick. But again, you're a race driver, you're on the same track, you're in the same series, same time, same network, same place. Different measurement system if you are an imperial or metric, but either way, speed is speed. Boiling point's 100 Celsius. I'm sorry, this whole shenanigans of
what is Fahrenheit even based off as well? Is it like... I don't even know.
And also, isn't the Earth's circumference or something like almost exactly to a metric system?
Yeah, 25,000. Well, I think the circumference of the Earth is 24,998 kilometers or something ridiculously close like that. And yeah, it is something very close. And Fahrenheit, I just don't understand. Kelvin makes more sense than Fahrenheit would. I'd rather measure
and measuring as well too, because I've had obviously been here in the Americas doing a lot of woodworking for building on sets and stuff like that for theatre, and people are going, oh, it's 1/8 for 3/16, and I'm like, what am I going to try to work out fractions? What did you say? 20 centimeters, 10 centimeters, a meter? I can go from 0 to 100, 0 to 50, 0 to 30, and I know exactly where it is. Trying to work a fraction out is so complicated. Granted, grow up the system, you know it. My dad did both. He also had to do pounds and dollars when they converted to dollars in Australia. So he knew it all. Like, I would have asked my dad, what's this conversion? What's that? He'd tell me exactly. But
see, in the UK, we're a weird mix. All of our speed limits are in miles an hour, but all of our distances and measurements are all in the metric system, which is so strange to me. I'd rather be in kilometers an hour, I'll be honest.
And your currency still
is pounds. It's pound sterling, I think. Yeah, so we're all good in that regard. We're still our own special. Long live Britannia. Anyway. Yeah, the world is weird.
Your
weird,
empire
wonderful place.
is disintegrated slowly.
It has disintegrated. Yeah, the sun now unfortunately does set on the British Empire, which is probably for the best in terms of the modern world moving forward. And now we're stuck on our own little island with a couple of places around the world.
Oh, you still have Australia, Commonwealth. You still have Canadians
That's
here
true.
as Commonwealth.
And New Zealand as well.
New Zealand. You have Jamaica. And, it's just the Commonwealth Olympics, of course. The Commonwealth Games still occurs. And you were talking about this before, actually, because I was listening to you in the previous cast that's still going on, maybe still going, of course, for the PEC racing series, the endurance series, that you were talking about now how popular esports is. Like, it's in the Olympics, right?
Yep, it is. There is an esports section in the Olympics. Gran Turismo is one of them for the esports section, I think. I'm not sure if, I don't know, maybe there are some other sports that are a part of the Olympics. I'm not entirely sure. But I know Gran Turismo 7 is a part of it, because there was the qualifiers most recently on GT7, which is quite interesting, to be fair. I don't know. I like that advancement. It's a nice touch and shows the advancements forward.
I totally agree with what you were saying to me before, because I actually got into this during COVID, because once again, I was doing a lot of theatre stuff. I work at a lot of community theatre and get involved, and who's coming out of the pit road very, very slow, not to get in anybody's way. He's in the pit road there. But, yeah, I mean, because I was doing so much theatre stuff, I wouldn't spend that much time really on the computer. I'd play some games every once in a while when I have a chance to hang out with people. But once the COVID hit, of course, we all locked down. Nowhere to go. All right? Stuck. Panama was hit really hard, just like you guys in the UK. We're really locked down. Couldn't go out. Could go out 1 hour a day, a week, I think it was, in certain times. And then, of course, I was just online hanging out with people, and they're like, and then eventually at some point along the lines, people go, you should probably start commentating. You sound like you'd be a good commentator, and that's just how it'll swing from there. But that's what got into the esports scene. Yeah. When did it start for you, Zach?
Well, funny story, actually. So me and my mates used to, throughout lockdown, actually, we played a lot of Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. We used to set up our own little championships amongst the 5 of us. And I forgot to click join on one of the races. So we were like, oh, let's have some commentary. So I clicked spectate, and I just screamed down the mic. I was like, and he takes the lead, blah, 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 blah. And I was horrendous. But I clipped it and put it on Facebook, and I was like, does anyone want to hire me as a commentator, blah, blah, blah. And one small-time F1 league sort of just was like, yeah, come on, let's go and do it. And then I kind of got all right at it. Not really all right, but, I look back on it and still cringe at myself if that counts. And then just spiraled from there. Messaged Lewis McGlade. He sorted me out with a couple of things, and then
you knew Lewis. So you said it's an F1, like the F1 game?
Oh yeah, F1
that's
game
where
was
I
the
started
start
as well
of it.
too. Yeah, exactly, the F1. But before we realised, there's a difference between games and
PC
sims.
stuff is where the money's at. Yeah, and then
Shane's realising there's only one more lap to go on this race, so let's ride on board with Shane for his fun. And what a drive too from Shane. 12 positions gained, and certainly some exciting moments too from this driver. There's some Lewis McGlade. I know I love Lewis, and he goes over Lewis out there. He's absolutely fantastic. Hey, he got the award, didn't he? Simi.
Twice.
That's a corner.
Twice. Oh! No! Shane Larson spun on the final lap. He's got 12 seconds and change to use. I think he's playing with us a little bit. He's toying with us a little bit. Alan Luther's got a very good point about the metric system, which we'll touch on after the race. 2 more corners left to go for Shane Larson. He's been on fire by that one small mistake that he made both 5 seconds ago and actually a few laps ago in his fight with Model E's Kiko. He rounds the final corner, becomes the first winner apart from Carsten Keen and Alexander Rivera. He sees the checkered flag first. Victorious in Zandvoort, Shane Larson takes first place for round number 6 of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. Model E's Kiko with her highest position of the season as well, up in second. Michael Brooks comes home in third, though hotly followed. Behind that is Seth MacFarlane and Ian Rood, only separated by half a second on the dying stages of this race. A brilliant display of racing action was on show. Alan Luther saying in metric, which my year 6 teacher told me about this as well. So yesterday, a few years ago, my year 6 teacher said that 1 milliliter of water occupies 1 cubic centimeter, weighs a single gram, and requires 1 calorie of energy to heat up by 1 degree centigrade. So it all works out really nicely in terms of the metric system, which is fantastic. And in the American system, it's like, oh, so how much energy does it take to boil a room temperature gallon of water? And it's and then
they did try it. They have tried it apparently.
Quantities.
They had tried it in the past. The problem is, with the United States, and it's no problem to everybody in the United States. It's just the government tries certain things. Like they've tried to lower the alcohol, raise the alcohol age. Sorry, lower the alcohol age to 18, that sort of stuff in certain states didn't work, etc., etc. So they've tried certain things, but they have tried the metric system before in the past. It has failed. But one thing hasn't failed this evening, not the metric system, of course, but Shane Larson, of course, on the wrong stuff, delivering all the right stuff. Those results for you, please.
Indeed, so 7.5 seconds was the gap between victory and second place. Shane Larson from Model E's Kiko and Michael Brooks, the top 3. Seth MacFarlane in Rude, not separated by much in the closing stages for the top 5. Carsten Keen, a disappointing result for a mega first stint, sees him only take 6th. And, well, what could it mean in terms of the championship with the absence of Alexander Rivera? Ian Patience, Carl Matheson, Dominic Angelicchio, and Daniel Whitfield. Once more, a disappointing result for him. The 64 machine rounding off the top 10 with Boyd Payne, Brian Long, and Yoel Dutton, the 2 DNFs, not making it to the end of the race. 12th and 13th for those 2. That rounds off the results for round number 6. We have got Model E's Kiko waiting in the interview waiting room, so we'll drag her in for a quick little chat. Mod, well, it must be said that Zandvoort has treated you quite well tonight in terms of result. P2, I believe, that's your season best.
It is. It's my season best. I mean, thank you to everyone who found a wall or whatever it was that got me there. But I was confident going in, and then I had a really terrible start. I think I lost 2 spots right off the grid. I just forgot to press accelerate, so I just kept it clean. And my tires were a problem in practice, so I was just like, well, don't push too hard, see what it looks like by the pit phase. And I guess my tire thoughts worked in my favor.
Good stuff. Well, very well done indeed, of course. Zandvoort, in a week's time, though, we go to a circuit that is actually, in all essence, fairly similar in the form of Laguna Seca. I mean, you shrunk Zandvoort down a little bit, but apart from that, the driving dynamics of the 2 circuits are largely the same. Are we expecting more of the same from yourself in terms of a consistent run, hopefully to see you up a little bit higher on the grid?
Well, Laguna Seca is always interesting because it's one of the 3 tracks. Everybody has done a lot of laps on there at some point in their iRacing career. So I reckon it's going to be a pretty tight race. But yeah, I love the track. I do like it in high downforce cars. I did a lot of IndyCar racing there. So hopefully the F3 will provide some fun times. I can't wait. It's probably what's the one after that? It's going to be Silverstone.
Silverstone for the finale, yeah.
Yeah, not a big fan. So hope to get another good result in for Laguna,
Ooh.
and then hold on for Silverstone.
I am disgusted. What was it? What was it earlier in the season? You said you didn't like Snetterton, weren't it? Ugh.
No, I don't like Snetterton, but it was Donington.
Oh, disgraceful! Absolutely disgraceful. Well,
Give me Brands Hatch. Give me
Yes,
Old
Brands Hatch.
and I'm all over it.
Yes,
those big ones.
disgraceful. Absolutely disgusted. Anyway, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to on the broadcast?
No, just shout out to Alan. He kept me company and was giving me a bit of more of a boost when things got a little bit scary on the tires. But yeah, thank you, Alan.
Awesome stuff, Modelist Geeko. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck for next week.
Take care.
Awesome. Thank you, Modelist Geeko. Then second place in the race for her today. We'll drag in Shane Larson next, who was victorious. Shane Larson, I have to say, you had your ups and downs throughout the course of that race, a couple of spins and mistakes and this, that, and the other, a poor qualifying, but none of that stopped you at all. You were on fire today. Talk us through your confidence throughout the 31 laps.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys have seen that I haven't been in the series for past few weeks. This is actually my last league race, so I decided to not qualify and start from the back and see how much fun I could have, and just knew I had to be safe at the start, and then just found my way up towards the front. Knew I had some pace. Just had the confidence today.
Fair play. I mean, respect for it. A great send off, I think. Did you say it was your last ever league race tonight? So fair play. Indeed. Well, great way to send it off, doing a Rosberg, ending it on a high. But fantastic stuff. I'm sure you can be very, very proud. I was about to ask you how you're feeling for next week, but I suppose that's a bit irrelevant now, isn't it? But yeah, well, Shane Larson, I mean, you become the first ever winner this season, other than the top two of Keane and Rivera. I don't know. I guess that's a nice title to have to your name before you give us a nice little send off.
Oh yeah. Definitely happy to have a win for the season. It was a way fun season for the races I was here, anyways. Brian has an awesome series set up, and he's got a lot coming in the future. So hope for good things for you guys in the series.
Yeah, Shane, I do have a question. It was on the stream, actually. It's not really related to the race, but it's something about... Zach, do you want to ask that question? Because I said if Shane does win the race here, of course, as an American, and this is going to be a little British across the pond debate. Can you remember what is that, Zach, that we were talking about?
What was the question? No, it's completely gone out of my mind.
It's gone out of my mind too now, unfortunately. Everybody in chat,
what was it?
Sorry.
No, I'm sure there's something to jog my memory.
On here, Shane. Something about
it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know why you spell color the way you do?
Honestly, that's a genuinely good question. I have no idea. Because
I've always been told that it's because the newspapers couldn't afford enough ink to put the extra U in, so they just took it out. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth in that. I thought I'd hear it from the horse's mouth. But
I mean, I'll go with that. That sounds logical, I guess. So
fair enough. Right, there we go. An American himself has just called themselves out on being cheapskates in the inking world. Anyway,
there you go, guys.
Anyway, well, before we let you go, is there anyone you're gonna give a quick shout out to on stream?
Well, all you guys for commentating. You guys have been awesome on the broadcast. My team, Wrong Stuff, everyone who's behind the scenes for the series, and just all the competitors in the series. They've all been fun to race against, and obviously I can show that today, racing against everyone. So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Shane Larson, race victor from Zandvoort. And well, ladies and gentlemen, actually, one second. We'll digress for a second. Anna Bricks is saying it's not why, it's only a simplification. So we are wrong. Okay, fair enough.
Wait, not we. No, we. There's no we in me.
Me. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
There's no we in Zach, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Me and Dean Biggles, we're going down together. I'm dragging you down with me. So apparently it's just a simplification. Fair play. All right, fair enough. Again, heard it from another person's mouth in that regard. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going up in hold. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Anyway, we will wrap it up here, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 6 live from Zandvoort, the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. We only have 2 more rounds left to go. Laguna Seca in a week's time, and beyond that, we go to the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for the finale of what has proven to be a brilliant season of racing. Who is going to come out on top in the championship? In a week's time, you'll find out. Join us same time, same place here on the JP Broadcasting YouTube network. Make sure you've liked, subscribed, turn the bell on for notifications to not miss a thing that comes your way in terms of sim racing action. Whether it's Formula 3, Endurances, GT, Open Wheel, Radicals, or a bit of NASCAR for those more interested into the oval side of things. Whether it's trying to find a home in something you already love or trying to branch out and expand your motorsport knowledge, you will find a home here at JP Broadcasting. So make sure you have got that bell on for notifications. And join myself, Zach Sweeney, and Dean Biggles back in the commentary booth in a week's time for round 7 from Laguna Seca. But in the meantime, guys, take care and all very warm. Bye-bye.